Okay, good afternoon, Phuket and Bangkok and Thailand and everywhere in the world. It's amazing at a time of such great technological advancements, we still have to ask people if they can actually hear us. I have a wonderful guest today, and since we have not been able to do a sound check, we'll just go ahead, go online, and see what happens. Uh, Abhishek, I'm bringing you in. Hello.
Hi, hi.
Hey, you can hear me fine?
Yes, I can. How
Okay,
about
good.
you?
I'm good, thank you. There is an echo, by the way, just in case. You might have something open on the side. If you can mute that, please.
Okay.
I'll check from my side as well. And
Is it possible that I'm using lavalier that caused this?
I am not sure, to be honest. But it's wait, I can't hear you at all now. Are you reconnecting your mic? Nope, can't hear you at all now. Hello, check one. Nope. Um, Give me a second. I think that was from my side. Hello, hello. Can we check again, Abhishek? Can you say something? There you go. Something happened. So you can hear me? Okay, I can't hear you. Um, yeah. So there is an issue on your side, Abhishek. I'm sorry. Yeah, go for it. So let me just introduce Dr. Abhishek Agrawal for now while he fixes his mic situation. So he's a great guy I met in Phuket from when I was in Phuket. I was living in Phuket, and he fixed my shoulder and back issues because I was doing a desk job, and it's called the office syndrome. And he basically is a master of fixing people's lives, to be honest, physically and mentally. He's a doctor of neuropathy and yogic sciences, and he has his own yoga, Pilates, and therapy studio in Phuket, in the very beginning of Boat Lagoon, actually. So, like right before Boat Lagoon. So there's that. That's just a basic introduction. There's so much more I can say, but I would like Dr. Abhishek to say that himself as well. But we need to make sure that his mic is working. Abhishek, is your mic working? Nope. So I'm checking on my side.
It will work now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. How about
I
you?
can hear you. And let me just quickly check if everything. Perfect. Everyone can hear us, including
Yes.
we can hear each other as well. Cool. So welcome. I gave a really basic introduction of you yourself. I told the audience, there are a few people watching right now. I told them about how you have your own yoga and Pilates and therapy studio in Phuket, in Koh Kiao, and that you actually fixed my office syndrome back in the day. That's how we met as well. So thank you for that. It's been a few years. But do you mind elaborating yourself on what you do as well?
Yes, of course. Well, first, it took a little bit long time for you to say thank. I
Yeah.
hear a lot of echo actually on my side too.
Okay.
So I'm not sure why is that.
Okay, because from my side it's perfect now.
I see. Because when I'm talking, I'm hearing
Mm-hmm.
myself.
Okay, yeah, that's what was happening earlier as well. It's still happening.
Yes, what would
Yeah.
I do? Oh,
Unplug and replug.
okay.
How about now?
Yes, yes. Oh, it always works.
It does. Okay, so it's not working for us anymore. But let's just see what happens. Because
Okay,
now it's kind of echoing, but that's completely fine. I am checking the stream on YouTube as well.
okay.
Because now it's kind of echoing, but that's completely fine. I am checking the stream on YouTube as well. Yeah, I think it's fine. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure people
All
will
right.
let us know if it really bugs them. Um, so so yeah, could you give a basic description of your own life? Could you elaborate on your background a bit? I've already
Um,
mentioned what kind of a doctor you are and your studio in Phuket as well in Phuket.
okay. Well, I think you mentioned there neurology, but actually I'm not a neurologist. It's the doctor of nerves. So I'm a
Okay.
naturopath,
Whoops.
which
Okay.
where we use natural or alternative therapies like
Mhm.
acupuncture, physio. These are the common names that you and common people understand, but there is a vast majority of alternative medicine actually that we use.
Mhm.
I would not say
Okay.
a medicine, but alternative therapies.
Okay.
So, so I'm a doctor in naturopathy and yogic sciences. I've done many different courses, and I've always believed in studying more
Yeah.
and more. It's like never enough. So I constantly educate myself. I've done a precision nutrition course. I've also done postnatal recovery and helping women after childbirth uh, and during pregnancy. And other than that, I do a lot of pain rehabilitation,
Okay.
helping people with degenerative problems and lifestyle issues, like the one that you had, right?
Exactly.
So yeah. What we do in our studio, to answer that, uh, okay, so we started with, I would say, I started just with yoga classes because that was a very beginning of my career in
Okay.
Phuket. Because I first arrived in Phuket like in 2006, and I was working with Banyan Tree for an entire year, and then I decided, this is probably a good place to, um, you know, to start doing something that I always wanted to. My goal was never actually to teach yoga, but
Okay.
this is what has, I mean, I was put in front just as a yoga or Pilates trainer. So we were doing this since 2007, 2006 with Banyan Tree, and 2000 myself. Yes, I was alone when I started
Mhm.
this. Then I built small team. Same, my classmates, my juniors from India came in, and we worked together, and we expanded it. Yeah, to certain degree until I had to kind of, you know, get out of Phuket for a while because I
Mhm.
was just getting, uh, we were at some point when you stay in some place and you get just narrow, 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 and you kind of just go into an environment which is just so closed, and
Mhm.
then there is nothing you can see outside or you cannot experience
And there's
what's
no
happening
room to grow
around.
as well, right? In
Yeah,
that
it's very
case,
hard to
yeah.
grow, and that's when actually I also had an injury from
Mhm.
doing yoga. Basically, one of the pose. There's nothing wrong with yoga. It's just done in a wrong way. So I had an injury, and then I was really not happy about it. And then we got some opportunity. Then I moved out for 4 years, and there everything started to change my entire vision. And so we were in Hong Kong. 4 years, and really it opened my vision. It brought me a lot of knowledge as well, plus also the knowledge that I have had. I couldn't really utilize it or use it. So when I started using this, with some of my clients who children's were having some sports injuries, and person who's with back pain and all, so I started to bring all this knowledge into that, and I actually enjoyed that. I believe I've always enjoyed that part, to
Okay.
help people through these alternative therapies. And I've combined a huge pack of therapies, basically. And some people just need a simple stretch, but some need a muscle release,
Yeah.
and some may need a lot of strengthening in one particular group of muscles. So all that, whatever helps, we
Yeah.
use this therapy, combine them. So how do we operate the studio? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm just answering a lot.
No. Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, so the way we operate is, um, we actually first try to focus on the pain part. So most people come to us with pain, usually referred by other friends or family members, and then we work with them, we reduce their pain, improve their posture, and then we ask them to, just stay out of it. And to stay out of it, you could just do our regular classes, which are also built on the same concept.
Okay.
And all that actually combines together with some sort of nutrition advices, and literally any help that they need, we can always provide to a certain
Okay.
degree.
So you said you were in Phuket since 2006, right?
Yeah.
So that's my math is bad, but that's like 10, 14, about 16 years from there, right? If I'm wrong,
Yes.
I'm sorry. But what about before that? So what has been your full
Yes. So,
experience? How many years has that been?
I started my medical degree actually in naturopathy and yogic sciences from Bangalore. Near Bangalore, there is a place
Okay.
called from SDM College of Naturopathy and Yogic Sciences. This is a 5.5 year degree course where we study naturopathy, all these modalities, and yoga was a subject for 5.5 years actually. So we
Wow.
studied yoga not just as a physical form, but it's very deeper level, till, so like from very basics to physical until therapeutic, and in between philosophy and deeper um, you know aspects and the
Yeah.
knowledge behind yoga. So all that. And then in 2005, I left college, of course. In the 2005, I got my job like in January or something, in 2006 in January. And then I worked in one of the hospital, and I was a naturopathy doctor consultant. So in
Okay.
India, we are actually consulting and prescribing treatment. So the naturopathy means we use 5 elements: the water, fire, earth, and the space, and also the right. There's one more. It will come in my mind. It's just
Air.
the 5 elements. So
Okay.
we combine this. So if you say water, we use water therapy, like hydrotherapy. And there
Okay.
is a whole lot of knowledge about hydrotherapy, which comes from the Roman culture, and that we adopted, and then we use these therapies, like application of hot and cold water, could be very
Okay.
beneficial.
Yeah.
Like you drink hot water when you're sick, right? Or when you have sore throat or some sort of
Yeah.
flu. But then you can generally drink cold water when you want to energize, when you want to wake up, kind of, boost your
Sure.
yeah nervous system. So you could use internal and external. So likewise, they have a water therapy. There is a mud therapy. So there are various treatments methods using
Yeah.
these 5 elements. And I mean, I could go on, and if you want to know more, I could continue talking about it. But it's a very vast subject that we, even in 5.5 years, I think it was not enough. I could go back and do an MD, master degree, for another 2 to 3 years
Yeah.
in the same. So yeah, it is. And in India, it runs more like now you can call the spa in Western countries naturopathy hospitals in India.
Okay. All right.
So it comes together with the doctors
Got
consulting
it.
and prescribing proper treatments for all type of remedies,
Okay.
um, all type of ailments. I mean,
Yeah.
any
Interesting.
problems. Yeah.
Yeah. So it has been about over 16 years. I mean, I want to include obviously your medical degree as well. So that's like 5.5. That's about 20 years. That's a lot of yoga. That's a lot of
Yes, that's a lot.
information that would
Yeah.
come in. So I mean, obviously, I would love to dive deeper into specific topics, but I was hoping that if we do this in a recurring manner, then maybe we can pick out specific topics for future as well.
Yes,
But
yes,
I'm
absolutely.
pretty sure we'll touch a lot of different subjects right now as well. I had a question. So obviously, well, you have answered about 5, 6 different questions that I already had. So thank you for that.
Well, you
But
can, yeah.
but I wanted to ask you about this. So like how if I mention yoga to a lot of my friends, a lot of people go like, "Oh, it's just for hippies, dude," or it's an elitist concept. It's an elite activity because who the hell has time for yoga when you have to, go to your job and things like that. And that's I remember, and this is speaking obviously from personal experience, that when I was feeling the office syndrome and I came to you, the only reason I came to you is because I could not work anymore, right? I mean, obviously I should have seen it coming way before it actually happened. But even I, going through so much pain and stuff, I could not see that, oh, I need to make time for yoga. And now I do stretches, I do breathing exercises on a daily basis, and obviously it has helped me quite a bit. But I don't do full on yoga. I don't have time for full on yoga. Let's just say that. So coming back to the original question, like the hippies and elitists, like what do you think about
Well,
this statement?
I think the answer to that is, if I have to give you a very short answer, which I will not because it will confuse our audience very much,
Sure.
but maybe in the end, I will give you a
Mm-hmm.
short answer to that question. But if you just look back into the needs, if you relate your needs for yoga and interest for yoga, then the problem and the question is probably answered very quickly. Let's say if you really need yoga, like you were already to the point where you absolutely needed some therapy, and not particularly yoga, because honestly speaking, yoga is not a treatment protocol. Yoga is a preventive method. It prevents you from getting into the trouble.
Okay.
So it has to be a regular routine of few practices, few yoga stretches, or the breathing techniques, or the chantings, right? To calm your mind, to relax, and to start your day.
Yeah.
But if it was not in your interest, then either it's an elite or a hippie. None of them are really going to do this.
Fair enough. I was smiling because I just realized while you were talking about starting your day with yoga and breathing, I just realized your sitting posture and my sitting posture and my sitting posture is horrible right now. Even like this is my posture right now, so I was feeling guilty about that. So okay, I get it. I think it has a lot to do with the marketing of the subject as well. I think I am in marketing, so I do see a certain, like there was this, for example, there was a school I was marketing for back in a year ago, and they were known as a sports school all over Thailand. They were known as a sports school, and it took us about 2-3 years to actually make it not a sports school only anymore, like a full package. And I think like I haven't seen marketing of yoga and Pilates and these kind of sciences in that aggressive manner that you go like, okay, no more hippies in the photos, like, or something like that.
Okay,
But
okay.
you know what I
Well,
mean?
no, I understand. But if you look at the social media, you will not see anybody posing yoga postures in a hippie gesture.
True.
They don't have
True.
long hairs, except women, of course.
Yeah.
And, they are not half clothed, except women, of course. So most people are actually promoting yoga in a very different way, which look, I don't want to go the other way and tell everybody else is doing wrong, but I want to support this, the cause. Like, teaching yoga is a great, great initiative that people have taken. People have learned for themselves. Then they found this is something that could be the purpose of my life. Because
Yeah.
sometimes we just don't know what is the purpose of our life. Why are we here, right? Sorry, I'm getting a little serious.
No,
But
go for it.
we just don't know why are we here, what are we doing here, what's our goal in life, what we really want to achieve. And then suddenly sometimes we come close to a religion, and suddenly we come close to an exercise method which is very close to our nature. And we personally do every yoga posture that you put out there are actually the position that we acquire throughout the day or throughout our life, because these postures come from the universe. You see crow, there is a posture for that. You see a cow, there is a posture for that. You see a warriors, or you see the fighters, there is a posture for that. You see a crane, really looking into the water for his fish, and there is a pose for that. So these postures have come from the universe, from the entities. And these yogis, I don't call myself yogi at all. I'm not even close to that. And I don't think many people living in this world are very close to that anyway. But I don't call myself yogi. But these yogis who have heard and listened this knowledge and watched it, they try and pretend that, and then they actually found that they could be in that state of calm and feel happy. And yoga worked for them. I think so. I don't know, but this is my own assumptions. I think like when they were practicing these yoga postures, they actually felt good. And the reason they felt good, because it started to stimulate their hormones, their adrenals and all. We talk in science now that, somebody sends a message, you look at the message, you're very happy about somebody's replying to your message, or likes and all. These things happened in very past, but in a different way. They felt in a very different state. And this happens even today. Honestly speaking, sometimes, we see people come out of the class and they feel, wow, I felt so good, right? And that's a temporary activation of your nervous system, your glandulars, your body is awake. So even if you did 5 positions, you would feel good, because it makes you feel you've done something.
Yeah.
If you worked a whole day, don't you feel like, I deserve a beer, I deserve this, I deserve that? Honestly, no. We have a purpose in life, and I think that's what really happened. So go back to your like how yoga has been promoted now, and why it's always showing the hippies. And it used to, but not now anymore. I think now the yoga has taken a very different aspects in life. There are some serious practitioners, and there are the practitioners who only look at yoga as some kind of posture. And when you look at it as some kind of posture or some kind of body position, then it becomes a little bit demotivating, because a gymnast who has a super flexible body could twist their body in a strange way. We don't have to be that flexible. It's not necessary. Ideally, you should be able to sit upright, and hyperflexibility will only make you go down. So if your muscles are evenly built, or are equally strong and flexible, then you are able to maintain a better posture, and, you know, do a better activity. So that's why the yoga has been always promoted now, maybe more for athletes or somebody who really need. But the majority of yoga practitioners are women.
Mm-hmm.
And it is just that also because it's convenient and easy for them. But for you, and when I started, it was really painful.
Mm-hmm.
It is, yeah, the stretching is painful. So when we did that, it was just very tough. But again, you know, we already have come to this era where the yoga is, different people talk differently about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if I'm answering your question. Maybe I went a little
No,
bit off topic there.
no, you did, because I mean, obviously marketing has changed. What the people practicing it, they have changed as well. They're more, not less, right? But it's really good to see that, you know, it wasn't considered a badass activity back in the day, from at least from what I remember, and I'm not as I have not had as much experience in the industry as you, obviously, so you know better. But from what I have seen, from my own observations, now it's like, you know, like you said, it's preventative, right? So that's probably something that athletes would want too, as well, right? Like, we don't want to get injured. If it's me, I would like to prevent an office syndrome situation again, where I can't, you know, even sit at my desk anymore, and which means I don't get paid. So you're talking about a regular office worker as compared to an athlete as well. We can see that, you know, it's a broader spectrum now in terms of you know, who actually wants to practice yoga. So I think you did answer my question very well. I wanted to ask you. You've already told me, you know, what people do get from yoga and everything, but you do Pilates as well, and that's something that I personally don't know much about, and I would like to learn more. But I'm pretty sure there's some people in the audience who don't know about it either, and you provide both of these activities. So could you dive a bit into what Pilates does, because you've already mentioned yoga quite a bit.
Yes, yes. Okay, let's put Pilates mainly as a system of exercise. So if we want to simply exercise, I think
Mm-hmm.
Pilates would be very beneficial. But there's
Mm-hmm.
one more thing I want to tell about Pilates is
Mm-hmm.
when the method was developed by Joseph Pilates was actually treating these soldiers who were injured in World War II, I guess, one or two.
Okay.
He was actually treating, and these soldiers were not listening. And he actually had to literally create the whole lot of equipment in order to build this whole system.
Mm-hmm.
And I think over time, Joseph Pilates has created a list of exercises on the floor, on the machines, which they don't really look very different to yoga postures, but the way they are done is very different.
Okay.
So Pilates is more like an evolutionary, like when a child is born, the first thing, they lie down on the bed, they have no idea what to do. They kick the legs and arms really hard and fast until they can make their abs stronger. The second, they learn to kind of twist
Mm-hmm.
and turn, go on their belly. And then they start to kind of kneel, sit. And once they sit, they learn to control their head.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start to twist around and squat, finally stand, walk, and then run away from their parents. So the whole sequence, the evolution, I've even written a blog on this. It's the whole evolution part is what Pilates is actually.
Okay.
Every exercise is built in that sequence to start building the core to a certain degree. Now, if you got an injury in your back or anywhere, you actually
Mm-hmm.
can go back to start Pilates. It's one of the most safest exercise program, I would say,
Okay.
to enhance. So if yoga is just too hard for some people, they could begin with Pilates. And I actually recommend beginning with Pilates because most people have
Okay.
weak core. That's why they are stiff, and that's why they have to stretch. And the more they stretch, the weaker the muscle get, and the problem never solved.
Interesting.
So it has to combine, it has to go hand in hand. And that's what I've learned in 2006 when I first came to Banyan Tree. I've learned that from the day one that, oh yeah, this is the way to go. So I've always followed that path. And it's very close to a physiotherapy. I mean,
Okay.
if you had, let's say, a surgery
Mm-hmm.
and you went to see a physiotherapist, after the physiotherapist has done the work of you got pain-free, you must do Pilates. You must go and train Pilates in order to improve your movement pattern. Because the time that you have had an injury, or let's say you have an ankle sprain, if you're having ankle sprain for 2 weeks and then you had rested, limped for another 2 to 4 weeks, by the time you have totally disrupted your movement pattern. That's enough. Yeah. And that will eventually, at some point, will cause neck pain to anything else. And I have seen a lot of my clients here who just had a toe injury 8 years ago, ankle injury 20 years ago, suffered from back pain, and then completely cured just by doing these my method of combination of this yoga and Pilates and
very interesting. I mean, so what about the old? What's your demographic? Like people who come to your studio and people who have subscribed to your web app, which we are going to talk about later as well. Like, what's your demographic like? The reason I'm asking demographic because I've always seen younger people do yoga and Pilates. I've never seen really old people doing that. When I say really old, I guess I'm saying over 65. What would you recommend for somebody like that? I don't think that's really old.
Oh, no. I think the demographic is you can do this at any age. So we have 74-year-old person who trains with us. So that's the maximum we have trained. I've trained a person who is 78-year-old.
Okay.
So no, there is just no limitation actually. You won't do everything as the 10-year-old or 20-year-old or 30-year-old will do.
Yeah.
But it's sufficient. It's sufficient for you to do some activities that can build that core, the basic core strength to be able to just do things, live your normal life.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
do that. So yeah, age-wise, not an issue. Gender-wise, not an issue. But yes, if you were talking about, geographical here, usually people live around 5 to 10 kilometers from us, find it convenient to travel. I think most of people have cars, and I still feel like some of them think that an hour of drive is just too much to go for an exercise. And yeah, maybe they're right. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's what I want to say. So,
Okay.
but I have seen people from Bangkok coming to us here, and from different cities of Thailand, but mainly Phuket, yes.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to ask you about your COVID times. Like I sent you some of these questions, and I wrote also in it that this is really old news, obviously. But then I went back and I've seen what you have done in the past, and I wanted to ask you like how you managed to transition into online learning, online teaching, because schools went through that, universities went through that. So how did you cope with it, and what are your thoughts about that? Like how people responded to your programs online?
Oh, yeah, very good question. Actually, I wanted to answer this particularly because I have started online videoing and recording my classes and my work since 2011. when I first came through. One of my very good friend told me that he is studying, he's doing research on in the field of yoga and naturopathy, and that really encouraged me to, okay, if I cannot do a research, I should at least start working towards it. So yes, I've been recording and doing these, creating videos all for a very long time. Now, the COVID was probably the best situation in this scenario. I mean, I'm not talking in a, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It's a bad thing that has happened to the world, of course, but in a way, it opened a courage. So I got a bit more inspired, and I think I just had no choice. So I said, okay, I have to just go online, and otherwise, for 3 months, what we're going to do? We have, situations will not change so soon. I was talking to my father. He told me, the plague, to eradicate that took more than 10 years. So this is, these kind of things will take time. So we didn't know. And so I was very prepared and very, honest with my wife. And I told her, okay, we're going to just start this. We will run this online. And thanks to all the members we had, they were so supportive and they were ready to embrace this, and they were doing this at home. And yes, I really appreciate that they just were happy to do this online.
And if people face problems doing poses, certain kinds of poses, or if they were doing it wrong or something, you found that it was easy for you to correct situations. Like, did you have a back and forth with
so the first round of when we had first time when the COVID lockdown happened, I did not do the Zoom meetings. I personally didn't want to, because I don't know who would like to show their videos, right? Their homes and all, because this was a situation which just happened, right? It was so sudden. So I just started with Facebook Live, where only I was doing it. Everything that I designed was simple. Plus, it was most of the time for our members, so they were already doing these positions and coming, to the studio for a long time. So for them, it was all good. We were fine, and I told them many times, nothing could really go wrong. You will know when to stop most of the time. Unless somebody pushes you, yoga cannot really hurt you. So that was all good. And then in the second round, when this second lockdown happened in Phuket, I think all over, then we ran the Zoom classes. And honestly speaking, we need 2 people to do this. So my wife was demoing, and I was in front of computer running with the Zoom while I'm talking and giving instructions. My wife was performing, and I'm looking at all the participants, and then we were doing it like that, and that was very successful too.
Okay, good. I'm glad you guys could like provide services, because, well, it was needed, wasn't it? Like, people needed activities.
Technology is fantastic,
and really shit sometimes, as we saw from the beginning of this podcast.
Yes.
So what would you say to somebody who is thinking about doing yoga or / Pilates and is either afraid of it, nervous about it? I'm asking this question because, like, I feel it might be very similar to how people don't want to start the gym. It's always the first step into the gym that is an issue. So what do you say? What's your take on it about yoga and Pilates and everything else?
Okay, well, I put it in a 2 different way. If I'm very honest and not a businessman, as a common man, if I say, I suggest that most people start yoga online first. They should look into the video, take their time, and practice this. And once they feel like this is not enough challenge or not hands-on, they're not getting enough hands-on, then they should come to the studio. The studio, they can also start with the studio. The only issue is that everybody else is already achieved or kind of, have improved. And when they enter into the class, probably they would always feel like they are behind. Although in our studio we have classes
Yeah.
which fits everybody, but still, I personally think that it's a fantastic idea to begin yoga or Pilates at home first,
Okay.
and just watch few videos like in YouTube, or we have a web platform. You can also watch our classes and all, and then come to the classes. But as a businessman, I would absolutely ask most people to
Sign
come
up.
to the studio, sign up, and get started. And we're gonna take care of you, because we'll start from the very beginning. We'll give you a couple of private sessions. We give you foundation classes. All you have to do is show up. Rest, everything will come to you.
That seems to be the hardest thing sometimes, is showing up, but I do get it.
Yeah.
What else do I have?
I think most people
sorry.
show up to the places when they trust. So
Yes.
yes, I think we teach yoga in a very safe way. Um, there's no way we are looking to create any injuries for people, and we don't really push anybody, because we know that everything takes time. This is a process, like a relationship, yoga and any exercise routine, or changing your body, and it's more it's kind of structure. If you want to change, it will take time. It will take its own time.
True. Yeah, I get it. How wait, there was just one. I have just one more question. This
Okay.
this sped by really fast, by the way. Um, what do you think about the growth of the yoga? Like, forget yoga only. What do you think about the growth of your industry? From maybe 10 years ago. And you could start with just talking about Phuket, if you want,
Yes.
like how it used to be, the good old days or not, and how it's
Yes. Yes.
going now. And thirdly, where do you see the future of Abhisan Yoga Studio or yoga in general, like your industry in general?
Right. I think yoga, Pilates, physio, all that have played major role. We combine all of these in our studio. We start with physio, we build that, and then we continue working. So we have done the reverse way. Most people start from yoga, get a little bit of mobility, or probably destroy their posture. At some point, they do. I have had more people come from yoga with injuries than actually normal people. They come from that because flexibility, overstretching causes problems in the end. That's how people think yoga is for stretching. So in the past, talking about 2006, when I first came to Phuket, or before that, I have never seen any yoga which is where you overstretch your body to a certain degree, or do same type of posture repeatedly for very long time. It was only used to improve your circulation, general mobility, and just feel good.
Yeah.
But right now, there is just a whole different hype. And when I came to Phuket in 2006, it was all normal. 2007 onwards, I started to see that more and more people were doing it more like a gymnastics and all that. In 2006, when I introduced Pilates, there was no Pilates in Phuket. People had no idea what Pilates is, but it was very popular among Western culture when I was in Phuket, right? Since then, we brought some machines in 2009, and still among the Western culture, it was fantastic. People knew, and they could understand and relate what this machine does, and how Pilates is so beneficial in improving their postures, and actually the whole body. Any conditions that you have or go through, you can actually improve. So later on, now what we see in the industry is that it is all shifting. Most of it is shifting towards Pilates, and which is I saw this very long time ago, and I always believed that it has to combine. And there were some of my members who really believed in it and did both. and never really got any injuries and always improved. But then there were some who didn't and overly stretched and caused themselves so much injury that they actually quit. They quit yoga. And that's sad. It's really sad because a method that could really go for lifelong. And yeah, so right now, if I look at the entire industry, it's picking up in a different way. There are still some people who stretch haphazardly or, dangerously, but nothing I can do about it, right? It's their choice. But the one who is going through Pilates and they are actually rebuilding this, they're trying to reconnect. So the Pilates market, I think, is much bigger at this point, and more people are learning it. I don't know why they're learning it, but I think this is good.
Okay. Do you think that Pilates could completely replace yoga?
No.
At all?
No. Yoga, the way yoga is done, yes, it will be replaced completely. I think so, because the overstretching and the painful experience that people go. If you have a spring attached, and then you're stretching your muscle, and then kind of you pull, the muscle stretches, and the same muscle you press down, it contracts. This is much healthier way of stretching a muscle. Yoga should be used for a quick, quick feel good kind of remedy. So you've got like 5 or 6 positions, you do them, and then you move on, you start your day. If you're going to the yoga studio, they should also be more focused on just improving a general health. You cannot always think about there has to be something new. There has to be something new. There's no need to be something new. But that's why this industry has become so elaborated that too many postures and too many stuff. People just already, when they look at it, they say, I don't think I can do this. Because they always look at the hard one they cannot do. Most people, when they see it, right, they see the hard one. It's not for me. But when they just did, just stand like that and raise your hands over your head in a tree pose. Yeah, I can do that. So why should I go to the studio? Exactly. You can do this at home. You can actually easily perform all these postures by yourself as well.
Got it. Interesting to see what's going to happen in the future. Hopefully we'll all have our jobs at least. What we do.
Yes. As long as we have a purpose, I think you will have your job.
So, okay, let me make this the last question then, because you've mentioned this a couple of times and it's not on my list. You mentioned purpose, like you should have a purpose in life and everything. Talk to me about it. Talk to everybody about it.
I think you may hear this from many people, and I think I agree with them. The real purpose of my life actually is to be able to help and touch as many lives I can touch. And I think that's what I'm doing currently, and I'm very happy with it because I could really help people. And that's just keeping me, keeping me going, or just keeps me awake and, okay, you can do this. You have this person, you got this condition, or you got a new case to handle. So it always challenges me, and it keeps me on.
So part B, thank you for that. Sorry, I just threw that at you, by the way. But part B has a great answer for something just randomly come up.
Okay,
but,
I want to see that. I can't see much of the comments.
That's fine. No, the second part to that same question would be like, how would you suggest one finds their purpose? I know it's a long journey, so it's not going to be answered in a couple of minutes, but I'm just curious, like, if you have a 1-minute take on it or a 30-second take on it, how would one find...
you look around and see what you are good at. Ask your friends what you are good at doing, and start with that.
Okay.
And that keeps you on, makes you happy as you can do more of it, and then from then onwards. I actually have a whole, I have a small presentation which I was doing for this graduates of naturopathy, where we were talking about the purpose and how to build the purpose right after they have finished their graduation.
Degree,
So maybe next time we could talk more about the how, but I think the simplest way is to ask around, look around first, what's around you, and find out with your friends what you are good at, and then work with that. I think that could give you a better purpose.
Interesting. Thank you. Wonderful. That was wonderful. So I'm gonna wrap this up. I took 1 hour. I scheduled 1 hour from you. I don't want to go over that. It's a few minutes till then. But for now, I would just like to say, no, there's actually one more. We have mentioned this. We have mentioned
who is writing
this.
these questions? Where are you getting all these questions?
I dreamed them up, trust me. But the web app that you have, so I know that you have a YouTube channel, and you share reels and different things like that, short and long form videos where people can learn stuff from you. But the web app that you had mentioned to me, that's different, where people can get subscriptions, right? So there's a personal plan and there's a practitioner plan, and I wanted to ask you. You can talk about either one because of time constraints, but what is this useful? Who is this useful for? Like, could somebody in the US, for example, wants to practice yoga, would they be able to subscribe to it, or like, what's your take on that?
Yes.
Because I want to list this app down. I want to list it on this podcast as well. So that's the reason I'm asking this question.
Okay, well, to answer the first, yes, anybody can. This is an online platform, so anyone can, subscribe to this. There are two. The first one is actually only for personal, which means you can actually just do the classes. There are 1 hour classes, and I also add sometimes 30-minute classes and other classes. So you could just turn that on your TV and then just practice. It's like instructional. All the instructions are in English, so I think it's everybody can see it. So since it's an online platform, all over the world, it's available.
And these are 1 hour lessons for a daily thing, or every few days, or what?
Okay, so there are a few things. You can just go on and choose anything that you like to start with. If you have never done yoga before, there is a program. It's called 6-Day Jumpstart, and then you follow that program. There's also a way that you can actually connect directly with me, have a consultation. We can look at your posture. We could have listed all your problems or issues that you may have, and then recommend the classes based on that. So, I mean, this is kind of the concept that I wanted to build. When you look at the practitioner part, it includes some case history or case studies. So any yoga teachers, Pilates teachers, they could look into these videos and learn better about human body and assessment, and then the exercises that were prescribed based on these assessment to this. So they can learn and implement that, because my goal is to build a team. So personal is basically just for like someone like you would simply want to do some yoga, get into the app and then do it. It also can be recommended. If you connect with me and ask me, Abhishek, I don't know where to start. Okay, fine. We can work things out. Sometimes it does get a little tedious, but I'm really happy to actually help to people who actually want to connect.
Because that's your purpose, isn't it?
Yeah, that's my purpose. Yeah, that's my purpose. So there is a consultation form. You just write it and you contact me and say, Abhishek, I'm interested to do this. And can you recommend the classes I should start with? And then I could put the whole. On the other side, for my regular members here, we also recommend them to follow this as their home yoga program or home stretching program, because you come to the studio, it could be really expensive sometimes, plus time consuming, traveling, and all that. You can't really do every day in the studio. So you can also, just spread this out, and you can do it with your family. I mean, if you sign up alone and 5 people are doing at home, what's the big deal, really? It's great. So, I mean,
Get it.
this is kind of thing that you really should utilize on your own. If you can do it, we're also going to include some children's yoga. My daughter, she's 9 and she's going to be my model. She's very much ready. And she always asks
Fantastic.
me, when are we going to shoot these yoga and Pilates videos? That's
That's
soon.
interesting. Great. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for. I know you're really crazy busy, and I caught you on a Sunday, which is, I think, the only day you're free, right? But thank you so much for coming. For everybody or anybody who's watching, this was Dr. Abhishek Agrawal. We will shout out your socials. You are on Facebook, you're on YouTube, Instagram, and you have your own website as well. And I'll list them down, and on the comment section, on the captions and stuff, and so people can actually follow you. Do you have any final words before this podcast ends? Floor's yours if you want.
I'd like to thank you for inviting me, and thanks all the viewers for watching this podcast. Has been, wow, 1 hour. You guys really have a good patience, and that's great. And I'm really happy to connect. Any questions you may have, please write to me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Abhishek. Thank you, everybody watching.
Thank
And
you.
please, if you guys like these kind of podcasts, or you want more of, people, really smart people coming in and talking to me for some reason, like, share, and subscribe, and comment. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you so much. Take care.